for the Culture Club.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Finish Line Express is now open at Cars Plus in Mighty. The state-of-the-art car wash is now open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
The fight over the property at Eagles Field for a proposed medical complex. I'm Matsuki Hirayama speaking with the Admiral, who wanted to explain his side of the story to the people of Guam.
Plus, a look at the governor's State of the Island address, along with what senators thought about her speech.
And COVID-19 numbers are down as we have reached year 3 of living with this deadly virus. What health officials are reminding the community, saying we aren't out of the woods just yet.
Halfadays and buenas noches. Bienvenido para KUAM News Primetime. Guahu Sinek Delgado.
Sa Guahu si Destiny Cruz. Sizos maasi puri manyanyo mizu guini na programa. Well, the governor now has less than 30 days to sign the lease with the Navy for the use of Eagles Field in Mingilao. It's for the 21st Century Medical Campus.
The firm deadline comes after months of negotiations amid outcry from original landowners and the legislature. Mitsuki Hirayama sits down with the commander of the Joint Region Marianas to get some answers.
The deal was no secret, according to a top military official on Guam. After a stubborn back and forth between the administration and senators, the island's media was invited to the Joint Region Marianas headquarters Thursday morning to discuss the controversial lease for Eagles Field.
All this, discussions were going on and all that kind of stuff, and not once did any of the legislature pick up the phone and ask me to come talk to them or ask for a meeting or any of that kind of stuff. On what happened on Tuesday was the governor invited me, and the governor invited several members of the legislature to talk about this.
Joint Region Commander Rear Admiral Benjamin Nicholson says prior to Tuesday, not one of the senators speaking out against the proposed lease approached him. Nicholson denies claims that Eagles Field was ever excess land.
Although it was listed, the formal process for transfer had not happened.
In January 2021, the Navy Secretary sent a letter to the governor in which Eagles Field was listed as excess land to be returned to Gov Guam for public use. But Nicholson says that was prior to the military's missile defense engineers concluding that multiple sites are needed to protect the island from missile threats that could come from nations like China.
At that time, there was a thought that it was just going to be, one location. When we realized it was multiple locations, at that point, we took all of the land that had been listed as excess but had not started the process for transfer, and we removed it from the excess list.
He admits the lease will not cost Gov Guam a single penny, but there are strings attached. The commander saying the new hospital must meet certain requirements such as having a helipad, enough bed capacity for a mass casualty event, medical specialists, and more.
This was part of the negotiations that happened to ensure that now there's a hospital that can receive a larger number of patients. It has specialty cares that don't exist here on Guam or don't exist in the numbers here on Guam or don't exist within the DoD facilities here on Guam.
If the new hospital does not meet the requirements or if the governor does not sign the lease, Nicholson says Eagles Field will be used for other military purposes, such as military housing.
If the governor of Guam chooses not to sign this lease within the next 30 days, then the Department of Defense reserves the right to revert the land to use for other military purposes.
But the governor already announced she will sign it. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
And we'll have the full interview with the Admiral for you to watch on KUAM's YouTube channel.
Well, the economy, tourism, crime, and government pay hikes, those were all key topics in the governor's 5th State of the Island address Wednesday night.
The speech itself took just over 40 minutes, and she ended it with an update on the controversial medical campus project at Eagles Field. Here's Nestor Lecanto with a full recap.
The governor began by touting her administration's effort to eliminate GovGuam's chronic budget deficit.
Madam Speaker,
Sustained by the work of the last 4 years and focused on our plan for the future, tonight I am pleased to report that Guam is building a new era of prosperity.
That era, she hopes, will include new and expanded industries such as additive manufacturing, transshipment, telecom, and aquaculture. But she acknowledged that tourism remains the main driver of the economy. And while she's encouraged by better than expected numbers last quarter, there's still a ways to go.
But as tourism markets rebuild around the world, we can acknowledge full recovery will take time and no one is there yet. This is why I have committed additional support for a new $20 million round of the Local Employers Assistance Program, LEAP, as proposed by Senator Joe San Agustin.
She also proposed what she called a fundamental shift in how to pay for chronic problems such as school repairs and the war on drugs.
1, keep our business privilege tax at 5%. 2, protect the existing appropriations to DOE, GPD, and Guam Behavioral Health. 3, target the continued surpluses that we've delivered in each of the last 4 years for the repair of our schools and to reinforce our long fight against drugs.
And while she says under her administration there's been record seizures of drugs, the lasting solution will take the help of everyone.
No one can deny that we just don't feel as safe as we should yet. Guam's addiction to methamphetamine causes much of our crime problem.
She also defended her plan to raise government salaries and adding that cost to the annual budget going forward.
I have no more elections to win. I approve the updates to the general pay plan because it's necessary. It is sustainable and urgent, and it is the right thing to do.
She saved for last her announcement that she will be signing a lease for the controversial Eagles Field land for her signature project, the new medical campus, which she says is sorely needed to replace GMH.
We will build your hospital, a public civilian hospital managed and operated by our people. It will be open to the community as a whole, just like GMH is today. The military will pay for the patients they send to our hospital.
And finally, she also addressed in English and later tomorrow the concerns of the original landowners who still want their property back.
Compensating our ancestral landowners for land that will not be returned is the Chamorro spirit of enough, Malik.
There was speculation that the lease would be signed ahead of the State of the Island address, but that didn't happen. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Well, there was no shortage of reaction both for and against what the governor had to deliver in her address.
KUAM News team immediately after getting senators at the Guam Congress building. Here's more.
The cheering for the governor during her address was nearly non-existent in the front row. Senators not too happy with what she had to say in her annual address, the GOP minority echoing their frustration as one.
It's kind of a toss-up between a Hallmark greeting card and an American greeting card.
This is like a cabinet pep rally, actually. You know, we're getting ready for the game. But you know, the people of Guam don't have the same sentiments.
She's chosen to isolate herself at Adelup and essentially dictate to us and the rest of the people the world she wants for the island, and that's not how you work collectively.
Her speech tonight almost sounded like last year's speech. Really nothing happened. Less crime? You ask anyone on the street right now if there's less crime, and they'll absolutely say, of course not.
She promised to serve for 3 more years, and she's got to step it up. That's the way I look at it. I thought that was a very disappointing speech.
The Democrats, however, remain divided over the governor's proposals to include the lease for the new medical complex at Eagles Field.
Especially with a huge project, $1 billion project like this, we need to have transparency and not sign away a huge debt for the government that's going to last for decades.
We need to also grow ourselves, and I think a hospital is a great foundation for our island to grow and rebuild.
She's providing us solutions, and she wants the legislature to use excess revenues to shore up and repair our school facilities and to fill the gaps with public safety. But out of the other side of her mouth, she's also asking us to fund a 22% pay raise.
In general, the state of Islanders, I was comfortable with it. My name was mentioned. I appreciate that. And that's about the leap. That's about helping the businesses out there.
I think we're going to have to start from scratch to replan that. And I'm sad for the landowners from this announcement tonight. And while we all want a hospital, we have lots of land. And I'm just sad that one person can make a deal on behalf of the people of Guam that's going to preclude these landowners from getting their land back.
If the vote were to try to give the land back to the owners, I would vote yes in a heartbeat. But that's not what this is about. To think otherwise is idealism without realism.
And you can watch KUAM's coverage with more reaction from the governor's address right now on KUAM's Facebook page. Well, can the CNMI survive without tourism from China? That's the concern from some officials amid growing tensions in the region.
Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotnia sits down with the NMI's delegate who shares the new Congress's perspective.
The NMI's main tourism markets are China, Korea, and Japan. China holds 41% of that.
The discussion that I've been having with the Department of Defense is that, hey, if you don't want China to come to the CNMI, then we need to work together, because this is not a United States problem. This is not a CNMI problem. This is a regional problem.
The CPA's suggestion is to look to allies like Australia and New Zealand for much needed tourists. That testimony during a Senate hearing on inter-island travel, highlighting the geopolitical pressure on the island's economy amid rising tensions between the U.S. and China.
I have lost sleep over this, and it's something that keeps me up. But I don't think we're going to have war, because you used the word war. I don't think we're going to have war my lifetime. Not intentionally, not by purpose, unless there's an accident. Far too many accidents can happen in this now getting crowded East China, South China Sea.
Some Republicans in Congress calling China's presence in the Marianas a national security concern. Sablan sharing that when he introduced a bill proposing CNMI-only permanent status to 1,600 long-term foreign workers in the Commonwealth, one lawmaker asked to exclude those who are from China.
I am not, Tomas, ever. I'm going to legislate where everyone except people whose ethnicity is this or that. No, I am never going to do that. So he said, the national security. Well, there are some bad apples who float to Guam. They get caught. But there's some who didn't get caught, who are probably out there. And that's a concern, and that's a valid concern.
KUAM asked the delegate how national concerns can be balanced with local economic needs.
That's a local decision, and that's a China decision. Not. I have no decision in that. That's a China decision.
Tomas Manglotnia, KUAM News, Saipan.
Thanks, Tomas. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we have more news in a moment.
Keep it here. You're watching KUAM.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
The wait is over, Guam. The all-new state-of-the-art car wash is now open at Cars Plus. Introducing Finish Line Express, open 7 days a week. The all-new cashless drive-through car wash is also the largest car wash on island that can accommodate vehicles such as lifted Jeeps and full-size pickup trucks. Just roll up, pick a wash, insert credit card, show your EverWash app, and roll through. Plus, power vacuums are available to clean the interior. Show your vehicle some love today at the all-new car wash at Cars Plus in Maite. Open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week.
Mizuru tweets, confession, I really like Jack in the Box Tiny Tacos. My crunchy tiny tacos with creamy avocado lime sauce? There's a lot to like. I have a confession too. One time, I've been advised to stop talking. Tiny tacos, get them regular or loaded.
Thieves targeted a local business that provides an essential service to patients needing transport to and from their appointments.
The company sharing their story with KUAM in hopes someone can help them catch the culprits who made off with a car, cash, and electronics.
Burglars targeted this local medical transportation company off Route 8 in Barrigada. Access Medical Transport President Wella Vanunen says she got the call from one of her workers at 7 a.m. Wednesday after this Honda CR-V used as a transport vehicle was missing from the lot.
He noticed that was missing. When he asked me where it was, I told him it was at the office, but he said it wasn't here.
The company has been operating on island for the past 8 years, bringing non-emergency patients to and from their appointments and assisting them get around to do other errands. Yunin says what her worker found next was troubling.
He went inside the office and he noticed it was like rummaged through. And they looked in their office and as well as the admin office, and they noticed it was a disarray.
One of the ambulance units had been broken into as well. Inside the office, tablets and iPads were stolen.
Our cell phones, our Alexas, our Toughbook. They also stole our money box, our petty cash, checks. And then as far as the rig, I don't think they took any items, they just rummaged through it.
The total cost of items taken, more than 20 grand.
That's significant.
It is for especially a small business, you know, it hurt all of us. And we use all those supplies daily to make our job easier. And they just take it like that.
Guam police officers were called to investigate. Authorities learning the thieves got in through a window. While Yunin hopes the community can help catch those responsible, she has this message for the thieves.
I'm disappointed. You know, you not only hurt me, my employees, and our patients that count on it.
Should convicted drug felons have access to federal public assistance, such as the SNAP program on Guam?
A bill by Senator Will Parkinson to allow it received strong support during a public hearing this week from people who fought to overcome their drug habits. Recovered addict Eric Borja said when he returned to Guam from California to rebuild his life, he's found that the same public welfare assistance wasn't available here.
The minute she saw that, she automatically said, "Sir, I'm sorry, but you are disqualified from the program." And I was asking her, I go, "Man, in California, they gave it to me. What's going on?" And she was like, "Sir, son, this is not the States. Over here in Guam, we run things differently." And I was devastated.
Borja is a drug counselor and says he's been clean for 13 years. Also testifying was Andrea Andres, who lost a well-paying career in the mainland to drug addiction. She too returned to Guam after a conviction in prison and is in recovery. She too has found work in a program that helps others who are experiencing hard times.
When I first got back, I was looking for work, and I'm used to getting jobs just very, very easily. It's really embarrassing because I was applying for jobs as like a waitress or a sales associate, and I knew that they were Googling me. The first thing when you Google my name is my federal charge, and I didn't get calls back, and I'm out there working with people in the system, people that with drug charges that they can't get housing, they can't get power, they can't get water. It's really sad. This bill would do so many great things for this community, and just because you did a bad thing, it doesn't make you a bad person, and everyone deserves help, I think.
Public Health and Social Services also testified in support of granting exemptions for drug felons, what would allow them to qualify.
COVID-19 cases on island are low, with less than 10 cases a day reported.
Still, Department of Public Health and Social Services officials are urging the community not to let their guard down, as the most vulnerable in our community remain at risk. Guam's COVID-19 cases are continuing in a downward trend, despite a minor uptick in cases in the last week, most prevalently in the island's Manumku population. Dr. Ann Pabutsky is Guam's territorial epidemiologist.
We just saw an uptick in the elderly. This is the 60, 70-year-olds, 75 plus, and of course the usual culprits, those for the working age population.
Public Health Interim Chief Medical Officer Dr. Bob Leon Guerrero saying a significant portion of them aren't getting vaccinated at all.
The difference is that in the beginning, people were worried that they were going to catch COVID and especially the elderly and die from it. Well, we still can catch COVID and we still can die from it.
The harsh reality is why doctors are hammering home that those eligible for the bivalent booster should get it as viruses evolve over time.
The elderly really need to get the bivalent booster. It's the best shot available if you don't want to die from COVID.
Meanwhile, updates on Omicron subvariants XBB.1.5, BQ, and a sublineage of BA.5 were comprising 3 runs of genome sequencing, though Dr. Pabutsky says it doesn't look to pose a threat to severe illness or an uptick in cases. Still, health officials will continue to monitor what's out there. In that same breath, experts are pushing vaccination efforts, holding a vaccine clinic from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Ordat Chalampago Mayor's office this Saturday. And now for a look at your world at home. Here's a view of the recently erected statue of Taga on Tinian near the House of Taga.
This view and Chamorro music that you can listen to anytime with this QR code on Isla Digital Radio.
This burger looked at one slice of melted cheese and said, more cheese. It looked at pickles and said, also onions. It wanted to be more than hot. It wanted to be juicy. This is the Quarter Pounder with cheese. If you thought one napkin for the Quarter Pounder with cheese was enough, it's not enough.
Fast, fun, and easy. That's how your home Wi-Fi should be. So start with an internet plan that fits your budget. Introducing your home Wi-Fi starter pack, also known as WISP. Enjoy up to 25 megabits per second for as low as $35 a month. Plus, a free router with your wireless subscription. That's hours of movies, games, social media, and more endless fun. Get your Wi-Fi starter pack today only at Docomo Pacific. Better together. Additional conditions may apply.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, everybody, it's time for our sports report, and we are hitting the links today, and who better to talk about what a wonderful event it is for the island's business community, business leaders, and people that just enjoy the private sector than my good friend Frank Campillo. He has had the distinction and the honor of being the chairman of the Guam Chamber of Commerce's annual golf tournament for Frank now going on better than actually 2 decades. So congratulations. I know you're an avid golfer yourself and everything, but to be able to represent the chamber and actually put this together that does so much good work, I mean, that must be an amazing honor.
Well, it's something as part of being part of the Chamber of Commerce and being in the board of directors, we all have to play a role, and the role that I have been given the distinction of doing for the last 20 years, you're right, is trying to help organize this tournament. Of course, the Chamber of Commerce, the administration, which starts with Catherine Castro and the rest of the team members, do an amazing job of putting this tournament together. We had 2 years actually where we were interrupted by COVID. In fact, about 3 years ago, we were in this same planning process. And on a Friday, we had to make a call that we were not going to have the tournament, which was going to happen the following Wednesday because the island and the world was closing down. We didn't have the declaration of the island being closed down yet, but we knew that it was coming up, and we had to make that call, and we made that call. But to take you back, yes, we are going to play golf again on March 22nd at the Talafofo Golf Resort. We are pleased to have a lunch being hosted. Every player will get lunch. We have great prices. Every single par 3 has a hole-in-one, the opportunity for individuals to win a car and win several other prizes. One of the par 3s not only has a car, but also has the possibility of winning $5,000 in cash. Another par 3 will have not only the possibility of winning yet another car, but also $7,600 in gas provided by 76. All the players will be treated to a nice lunch and refreshments. In addition to that, we will have a tailgate party at the end, which is being hosted by Kentucky Fried Chicken, and also is being hosted by Ambrose. So we hope that you can join us. We have a few spots still available. The deadline to sign up will be this Friday, and we look forward to the business community to come together and have the opportunity to play a wonderful day of golf, getting the opportunity to raise some funds for the Guam Chamber of Commerce for the different programs that the chamber puts for the community. And again, whether it's the women's gathering they just recently did, the liaison with our Washington representation, the political leaders in DC, the military leaders in DC, or the local leaders, whether military or business leaders, it creates revenues to be able to continue supporting the many programs that the Chamber of Commerce has throughout the year.
Well, Frank Campillo leading the way with the Chamber of Commerce golf tournament one time, and hopefully Frank leading the way with the lowest score, but that will be determined, I guess.
Jason, and we look forward to really hosting you and having you at that. Again, Wednesday, March 22nd, 2-man best ball, $250 to sign up, great prices, and great fun. We look forward to seeing everybody in the business community there on Wednesday. Thank you.
There you go. Playing golf on a Wednesday. That's an absolutely wonderful thing to do. So Frank Campillo, thank you so much.
No, thank you, Jason. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
We continue to celebrate Mes tomorrow with our new weekly series, Rooted. We bring you a look at our island roots and the origins of different customs in our culture, the history of our traditions, as well as our language.
Tonight, our Julian Hernandez learns more about Ifan and Lalain.
Mes tomorrow, Rooted.
I-Team-D is proud to support Mes Tomorrow 2023.
She's a businesswoman who spends much of her day in the office and boardroom. But what you may not know about Maria Leon Guerrero, the Chief Operating Officer and Executive Vice President of Bank of Guam, is the passion she has for the art of Chamorro chanting.
I got started in 2015, and at the time I was asking my coworker, Brandon, if he knew of any Chamorro language classes that I could join because I was interested in learning the language. And he said, "Oh, I have a better idea. I'm going to recruit you to my chant group." And at the time, we were preparing for FestPac, and they were recruiting new members for FestPac in 2016. So that's how I got started. I've always believed that your identity is so important for who you are. And I don't think that we can really move forward as a society unless we understand where we came from. And for me, with the chant group, you know, there's a lot of different people in the group with different backgrounds, people that are interested in Micronesian studies and traditional jewelry, all different areas of our culture. So it's nice to learn about those things, but I think the best part of it is when we're all chanting together as one, there's a really powerful energy that's created. It's hard to explain, but you know, we're all connected with each other, but we're also connecting with something that is far deeper. And the first time I tapped into that, I was like, wow, that's what I was missing all these years. And it still feels that way.
Mes Chamorro, rooted.
ITD is proud to support Mes Chamorro 2023.
Viva cumpleaños.
Viva! Time to check out your Cold Stone Creamery birthday club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
Happy birthday on March the 16th to Jessica Rosales, otherwise known to her friends and those who care about it the most as Jess. And Jess, your cousin Roni and Auntie Chichi wish you the very happiest birthday you can have. Roan, happy birthday to our dear son and grandson, who turns a wonderful 6 years old today. We wish you God's blessings and a great year of celebration. Love, Grandma, Grandpa, Mommy, Daddy, Siana, Uncle Kalani, Uncle Ken, Jake, Isaac, Sarah, Silver, Serena, Chewy, and our Rap Patrol puppies. We love you so much, our boy, they say. Ooh, that's a lot of love. Very well deserved. Happy 6th birthday, Roan. Cassandra Nego, may God bless you and wish you all the best in life. We love you more than you know. From your mom, dad, your sister Cameron, and Charmaine, and also your nephew, baby Axel. Mason Joseph Kinata Evangelista, happy birthday to Mason in Mountain Home, Idaho. We wish you were 6,088 miles closer to us so we could celebrate with you. I love the precision. And as Nana would say, I love you to the moon and back. Happy birthday with love from your Kinata family.
Happy birthday to everyone celebrating out there. Estagui Eads and Mizu primetime show. Sizus Maasi Put Ninenega